These are some Dinar Guru updates, starting off with Walking Stick. Walking Stick says there is a meeting the CBI is doing right now. This meeting is very important. It's about HCL, Iraq Stock Exchange, and Erbil Stock Exchange. It's the marriage between Kurdistan and Baghdad. CBI is also now involved with another set of meetings to start tomorrow. You'll be able to sense if you can see articles talking about the CBI with the IMF, AMF, WB. If I was in charge of that meeting, I would tell them I want to disclose to you the date of the launching of our new national currency. This is just my opinion. If there's any value to it, you're going to be looking for an article from the CBI that has these three entities in it. All right, Mark Z via PDK question. What do you think is the number one reason we haven't seen the RV yet? Mark Z says clean up on aisle 3. There's massive undertaking. When they pull the trigger, there is going to be no stopping it. It's going to be hard to control it very well once it starts. There may be unrest and upheaval. They have to make sure things are prepared as are reasonably possible before they pull that trigger. They're never going to get it perfect, but it needs to go soon. All right, Frank26 says if you truly have a need for an 800 number, then call the United States Treasury 800 number. Why? Because all the banks in the United States belongs to them. The United States Treasury will tell you exactly which banks are going to exchange the Iraqi dinar. They're not going to tell you that right now. That's not happening right now. So if you're interested in knowing what banks call the U.S. Treasury, they'll tell you every bank that's doing it. All right, Pimpy says I made a comment that Iraq was still under restriction. They have to ask the United States permission to do everything. And somebody said, no, they don't. They have their own sovereignty, blah, blah, blah. They could do whatever style they want. That's not true. Pimpy says, article, quote, the coordinating framework called on the government to address the United States side to release the dues of importing Iranian gas and not to use the file politically, unquote. Pimpy says, sounds to me like they have to turn to the United States to get their money and permission. Yes, they have restrictions on their currency. America controls them. Once again, I come with recipes and show you I was correct in what I was saying. There's still restrictions. All right, Militiaman says they haven't effectively published an exchange rate of 1310 like a lot of people out there are saying that they did. They didn't do that. The Iraqi currency hasn't been put on the Forex. They have it as a marker, but it's not internationally traded. They've got a lot of work done. We're definitely waiting to see if they move forward with this 23, 24, 25 budget. Caparoni question how many agreements now with other Middle East countries to bring investors to participate in reconstruction. Caparoni says Iraq is building a bank in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is building a bank in Iraq. This is all tied together, and what's the point if you're not going to create conditions for the economy to grow, for the dinar to go up in value? All right, Mark Z via PDK says there are rumors that in Iraq they are pushing for some time this week, and they would go to a 1-to-1 and a float not affecting us, and turn in their bills for new bills without the zeros on it. This is absolutely unsubstantiated rumor, not verified from anyone in Iraq on my end. Hopefully we would get a call saying this is true, which would mean we are well underway and would expect ours at any moment. But until we can spend the money, these are just rumors. Frank26 says the HCL is key to the budget and the budget is the key to the exchange rate. It doesn't really matter what Parliament does or passes or says. The structure of the budget is ready to go. It is ready to activate, to explode, not implode, but to explode. And lastly, Yada says 1 dinar will equal $1 in Iraq. But when we exchange that dinar in the US, it will be $3.81 because the dinar will have 4 times the spending power in Iraq or worth 4 times the value of the dollar. If it floats in Iraq starting at 160, that means we would get 160 in the US starting out. As the exchanges increase and demand for the dinar increases, we will see the value increase in the US also. What affects the float is the demand for the dinar. All governments are holding dinars in reserve. When we go and purchase oil, we will use their dinar with its increased value. And what is even more amazing, all countries will be purchasing Iraqi oil using their dinar, not the petrodollar.